Howdy, folks. I'm the Void Kitten.
I'm Amber.
And here's more Void. There's a reason why. It's actually... So Foxiness messaged us on the Discord, and she said that it's her kitten's fifth birthday. So happy birthday to the Void Kitten.
Aw, so cute. Happy birthday.
Alright, folks. Our first letter is titled, Will I Be a Jerk If I Ask My Sister to Stop Befriending My Girlfriends and Exes? I'm a 32-year-old male, and I've been in many relationships. It's quite challenging to date women who share my values in my area, so I date women with moderately opposing values to see if they will adapt during the relationship. When they don't, they usually leave and I search again. Most of my relationships last about a year, and I have no trouble finding new girlfriends. My sister, however, has started becoming friendly with all of my most recent girlfriends and invites my girlfriends out whenever I start dating a new person. Eventually, they become friends with my exes as she remains friends with most of my exes. I suspect that this often turns into a me-hating club, and my sister and I also do not share values. Very presumptuous to assume that a bunch of women are, of course, you're going to be the main topic when all of these women hang out. Very presumptuous. Surely I'm that interesting that everyone must talk about me. I have no problem dating new people every time it doesn't work out. I own my own place, and typically when we break up, my exes just move out. However, I feel that my sister lately is accelerating these breakups and brainwashing my girlfriends to not adapt to my values. Who, by the way, we already know do not share your values. Mm-hmm. My sister just met my new girlfriend and invited her out to hang. I cannot prohibit my girlfriend from going as it would not look good as it's a new relationship, but I want to ask my sister to cancel and stop doing this. I'm going to stop right there again. You're only not asking this of your girlfriend because it wouldn't look good? Pause on that for a moment, OP, and think about that for a second. Will I be a jerk if I asked her to stop? Somehow, I doubt that she would stop, but I have no way to easily prevent people that I'm dating from meeting my sister, since it would be hard to explain to my parents why. Alright, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yes, you're the jerk, and for more than you think. Like, the big issue here is that you are manipulating people. Women are not objects for you to mold to your whim. You are taking people who you know do not share your beliefs and trying to bend them to your will, and that is immoral. That is not okay.
So, the thing is that it seems like all of these relationships are destined to fail, and from the comments that I'm reading on, they last about a year, a lot of them, before he breaks it off or they break it off with him. You need to be more upfront with your own personal views and not to pretend like you don't share these values and then slowly mold someone, because like Amber said, that's very manipulative.
Right, like if you want someone who shares your values, look for someone who shares your values. And OP says in the comments, he doesn't want to date a religious person because he's not religious. You might have to make compromises, but you do not get to bend other people to your will.
I think at this point in time, you fail time and time and time again, right? Like every one of these relationships hasn't worked out. Clearly, your strategy of trying to see if someone will conform to your views is not working.
Well, and your sister is actually doing a great service to this woman. So, like, I applaud OP's sister if she is giving them a heads up about what you're really like. Mm-hmm. Like, because they deserve to know that your end goal is to manipulate them.
Well, and he's wasting their time, right? A lot of people who join relationships, they're looking for a long-term relationship. And so, by trying to convince them that he's not a certain way, he's wasting their time.
And misrepresenting what he stands for.
Yeah. So I don't really feel this is a good strategy. I think it's a very dishonest strategy, and I think that OP really needs to reconsider what they're doing here and look for people who actually share his values as opposed to people who do not share his values. And, I mean, the thing again is this, right? You don't have to hide your values. If somebody is interested in dating you, even if you have different values, then that can be their decision, but you're taking that choice away from them. So by misrepresenting yourself, you're not doing yourself any favors. You really aren't. People might be willing to give you a chance if you didn't misrepresent yourself, but your strategy is very sleazy.
It is. And they might not be willing to give you a chance, but that should be their choice. You shouldn't try like trapping them in and getting them to have all the feels before you're like, oh, by the way, I think you should be a stay-at-home wife.
By the way, get back into the kitchen and make me a sandwich, please. Not please. I'm demanding.
So just stop being a gross person, OP. Just stop.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So anyhow, take care and good luck in not being misrepresentative of yourself.
Yeah.
And Reddit DJT says, are you interested in revealing your values? This is an interesting dilemma. And OP replies, I want a more traditional partner who is feminine and more traditional relationship, stay at home or similar. I also want one that shares my politics, but I can compromise on that as long as they accept that I have different politics. And last good bad idea says, yeah, that's exactly what I thought. If you want this, then go to a church where those are the type of values and try to meet women there. And OP replies, I do not want to date religious people. I want traditional values and gender roles, but I am not religious. And Ashley Black says, info. Which values are we talking about? Can you give some examples? This sounds suspicious. You shouldn't date someone with the expectation that they will change. People rarely do. Sometimes this can be solved with compromises, but it sounds like you're unwilling to do so. And OP replies, politics and gender roles working, etc. And I'm okay on compromising on some things if they accept who I am. If there's no one and I have to constantly date new people, for now, I'm fine with that. I find it quite easy to find new girlfriends to move in with me. But as I approach 40, I might change that and settle. And here's the problem. I'm okay to compromise on some if they accept who I am. How can they accept you for who you are if you are misrepresenting yourself?
Well, and Opie's not willing to accept them as they are. I expect you to accept me as I am, but I will not accept you unless you bend to my will.
And that's an excellent observation. An excellent observation. All right, folks, our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Offering to Buy My Adult Son Proper Underwear? Yesterday, my son, a 22-year-old male, came over to visit. The pants that he was wearing slipped down a little bit, and I saw the top of his underwear. I looked at him and I said, are you seriously wearing Spider-Man underwear? And he said, yep, they are really comfortable. I asked him where he got Spider-Man underwear in his size, and according to him, his fiancée bought them for him, along with some other character designs, from some website that she gets her underwear from too. I told them that it's very immature for grown adults who are planning on getting married to buy character underwear, and it's time to grow up. That I can't believe he would even think that this is appropriate. He had the nerve to tell me that the only one who sees them is the one who buys them for me. So why should you care? I care because he's my son, and I don't want him to embarrass himself. He already wears character shirts that his fiancée also seems to have no issue with. Now underwear. I told him that he needs proper underwear, and if he couldn't afford them, then I would get them for him. He just said, we're done discussing my underwear, and I will see you later. And then he left. My husband and younger son think that I was too hard on him, and it doesn't matter what he's wearing. Am I the jerk for trying to get my adult son to grow up and wear adult clothing instead of character shirts and now underwear? Folks, not once when I started this channel did I ever think to myself, I wonder if someone's mother will care what underwear they're wearing. And now I have the answer to that burning question that I never wanted to know the answer to. Folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yes, you're the jerk. I think your son said it perfectly. The only people who care about his underwear, or who should, is his fiancée who's buying them for him, and him himself Why are you so concerned about something that literally no one will see? Like, first of all, character clothes in general are cool and you shouldn't, like, be rude about it, but they're underwear that no one will see.
OP, no one cares about your son's underwear, and you should not either. All right? I'm gonna just put that out there. Your priorities are messed up. You have the wrong priorities, OP. I'm just gonna tell you that you need to go reset that compass and find something better to do with your time than to bother your son about what he is wearing. If he's a successful adult who's well adjusted and doing just fine in life and doesn't have any major problems, then there is no need to levy a criticism towards him. If he has other issues and you feel like you need to make an intervention type of thing, is what I'm saying. This is clearly not a situation where an intervention is needed.
Like, people wear character clothes all the time. In my last week's video, I had a Pokemon shirt on. Like, it's totally normal, totally fine for people to enjoy. People are allowed to enjoy comic book characters, video game characters when they get to be adults. And they are allowed to express that with their clothing. But again, underwear. No one's gonna see it. Just stop.
Yeah, so OP, the only person who's embarrassed by this is you. He's not embarrassed by it. His girlfriend's not embarrassed by it. You're the one who's embarrassed by it, and that's a you problem, and you need to get over it.
Like, what is OP? She's like, I don't want him to embarrass himself. Are you expecting him to start taking his pants off at work? Like,
apparently. Yeah, is your son have some other jobs? And I mean, again, like, even if that's the case, then I'm sure his clientele is fine with it.
Right.
All right, OP. Take care and good luck on realigning your sense of values. And Serious Rick says, you're the jerk. You have repeatedly said that he's a grown adult. Do you know what that means? He can wear what he wants to. He had the nerve to tell you, oh, we could turn this right around. You had some nerve telling him what underwear that he should wear in the first place. Just because he doesn't dress like your perfect image of an adult doesn't make him any less of a person. He made the right choice by leaving, and if you want him to be comfortable coming back, stop trying to control him and choose what he wants to wear.
Very well said.
And Livid Flan says, you're the jerk and a liar. You aren't worried about him embarrassing himself. He's not embarrassed. You are. You're only worried about him embarrassing you. Only 3 people care about what your son's underwear are, and it's vaguely creepy that you're one of them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks, our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Saying That My Girlfriend Has Small Breasts? She has been complaining that I don't do anything for her and acting like I'm such a horrible boyfriend. I asked her why she doesn't wear lingerie anymore, and she started an entire argument with me about not buying her any. I ended up saying that I don't buy it because she has small breasts anyways. She got mad and said that she knows someone who does like her breasts. I got even angrier and made some fun of her and told her good luck being flat-chested and annoying. She's now been crying a lot about it. She won't get over it no matter how much I apologize, and she won't even take her bra off during adult time. I feel bad because of this, but at first, when she asked why I don't buy any, I apologized and told her that maybe it would be hot if I picked it out, but she kept going on, and so I said that she had small breasts. And for the record, I'm not trying to be mean, but they are small. Am I the jerk? I love the, oh, I'm just saying that I'm just laying some deep truth here. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yes, you're the jerk, and OP's girlfriend, if you're listening, break up with him yesterday. There are guys out there who will like you as you are, will love your body as it is. Get away from this guy.
Yeah, I mean, this is just absolutely awful. He's not being a supportive partner. He's digging into something that she's insecure about and just being like, well, I'm just telling the truth. Your girlfriend was telling you a need that she had, and she wanted you to help her feel beautiful. And what did you do? You tore her down.
Yeah, well, it's no wonder that she says that she doesn't feel like you do things for her. Like, it sounds like you don't do anything except tear her down.
Yeah. So this doesn't sound like a healthy relationship. And OP, I think you need to do some deep reflecting on what kind of person you are, because it's not a very good one. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest here. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Warning My Friend About Her Boyfriend? And this one was not submitted to Reddit. This was actually just sent to my inbox and my DMs, and they asked me if I could share this, and we'll share it. I'm a 37-year-old female, and I have been friends with Bonnie, a 38-year-old female, for years. And to be honest, I hate her choice of men. She exclusively chooses fun and adventurous guys, but many of them turn out to be jerks. Her current boyfriend of 2 years, William, a 44-year-old male, is pretty selfish. He prioritizes his fun over hers, ditches her during activities when she's too slow, takes the car to go surfing, which leaves her stranded, etc., and has a criminal record that ties into this selfish behavior. Bonnie does see this as a problem, but thinks that because he does help out in small ways, unloading the dishwasher, picking up the groceries now and again, and even though she's the one that cooks for them both, and she feels that he's improving and can be trained, so she hangs in there because she's loyal to a fault. I've told her my opinion because we're very close, but after the second time, she asked me to back off. Fair enough. I can be pretty intense, so I've been respecting that and just leaving it alone for the past year. However, recently they have been talking about buying a house together and combining finances. Bonnie makes very good money at her job, but William wants to buy a 7-figure house and land because it would be cool to have a personal woods to ride an ATV on. He has also just quit his job without telling her first and says that he'll start his own business as a personal trainer. He has no experience once they move in together. Bonnie is being supportive of this. She can afford it because she knows that he hated his old job. William also suggested that since they were going to buy a property and move in together, they should get married too. I know I had told her that I wasn't going to butt in, but this was screaming red flags, so I talked to her again. There was a recent Am I the Jerk post about another woman being taken advantage of by her boyfriend, so I sent her that. Bonnie and I ended up having a mini fight because she thought that I wasn't believing in her, but she did agree to talk to William about hitting the brakes. Well, it turns out that William has untreated bipolar disorder for years and never told her. And he is in a manic phase. He started flipping out that we were killing his buzz and that he didn't need anyone's help anyways. He said some pretty horrible things to Bonnie and stormed off. He is refusing to get help, and his parents are useless because his manic phase is not as bad as his previous ones and he'll calm down. Bonnie is horrified that she didn't know about his diagnosis and feels that they should stay with him because it's not his fault. She's been crying and confused and asking our friends for opinions. After a few more days, William calmed down and came back and apologized for the things that he said to her. He wants them to go to couples counseling to communicate better. He still does not think that he needs a psychiatrist or meds, and that he just needs to, quote, take better care of himself. Bonnie thinks that it's showing that he's willing to work on himself, and that maybe once they are in couples counseling, he would be willing to start individual counseling. I told her that his diagnosis doesn't make it okay for him to blow up her life alongside his. I also think that his selfish behavior has always been there, long before this recent manic phase, and that they should have broken up. But now, some of our friends that used to be on my side on this are calling me mean for not having enough grace for someone with mental health issues. I do know that it's hard for people with bipolar, so am I the jerk? Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
No, I don't think OP's being a jerk here. Now, mental illness is tricky. And I say this as someone who has anxiety, which can be very severe at times and can be limiting and can adversely affect Brian. But the important thing is you're still responsible for yourself. You're still responsible for taking care of yourself to the best of your abilities. And if your mental illness makes you blow up and say horrible things to people, then you need to explore other options, and it's not anyone's responsibility to fix you.
And I do agree with Amber here. You are responsible for your own mental health. And if you do have mental health issues, it's always good to have your partner work with you. And I have some trouble with his excuse here because up until this point, he's been perfectly fine. And then suddenly one day when someone confronts him, he suddenly turns and he says all these terrible, disparaging things, and they have this huge knockdown, drag-out fight. It seems more like an excuse at that point in time, and less like he is, and more like he's saying, oh, look, pity me because I have a problem, and don't dump me because I have a problem.
Well, exactly that. I mean, I think that's a very good distinction. Like, it's one thing to need support from your partner when you're dealing with mental health struggles. It's another thing to just like, when you say horrible, hurtful things, to be like, oh, well, that can't be helped because that's just, a mental illness. Like, you're still accountable for yourself as much as you can be. And like, again, I think it sounds more like he has a history of being very selfish and self-centered.
Yeah.
And not really being concerned about the other people in his life who are supporting him. He's actively refusing. I understand not wanting to take medication, although it can be very helpful for some people, but he's choosing not to, it seems like, make any health changes at all. Like, he doesn't want to see a counselor. He's just like, oh, I'll happy my way out of it,
Yeah, and I think that seeing a therapist is going to give you tools to help cope with your mental struggles. And there's nothing wrong with seeing a therapist. There's nothing wrong with working on yourself to become a better person. Him doing the very bare minimum around the house does not make him a good partner.
No, well, and that's actually brings me back to a point I really wanted to touch on, so thank you for that, was the whole, like, well, he's doing a few things so he can be trained. If you are ever in a situation where you're thinking of training another person, they are not a partner.
Yeah. It is not your responsibility to train your partner, nor can you train your partner. That's a terrible attitude to have.
Training is for pets and small children.
Yeah. There's an old kind of expression, I don't remember it off the top of my head exactly, but basically, bad men allow mediocre men to get away with being mediocre just because he's not actively, like, beating her or hitting her or something like that makes it feel like, oh, he's not as bad as he could be. But you should not accept mediocre just because he's not terrible.
In some ways, the mental illness angle is like detracting from his overall personality issues. He's just a very self-absorbed person. And he's happy to be with, the friend because he can spend, all her money and he doesn't have to work and can do this and that. But it doesn't sound like he's really putting in any effort whatsoever to the relationship.
So here's some advice to OP's friend. OP's friend, if you're listening, get a prenup. 1. 2, live with him for a while before you get married. Like, this is really important. Like, you might discover things about him that you do not like. It's all right if you two decide that after some therapy and some time and working together that you want to move in together. It's your decision, right? At the end of the day. But do not rush into marriage. Do not combine your finances. Absolutely do not combine your finances. See a lawyer. You have enough money to see a lawyer, get some stuff drafted up, get some protections in place for yourself, because while you love this guy right now, you've been with him for 2 years. And 2 years is like the honeymoon phase of relationships. This is when all the dirty, gross problems of relationships start to squeak out. And it cannot be said finely enough that you really, really need to have an eye for other behaviors that are cropping up in this time.
Well, it also doesn't sound like they've ever had a honeymoon phase. Like, these first 2 years, it's like, well, I can train him, which does not bode well for 5 or 10 or 20 years down the line.
Yeah. So seek legal advice, seek lawyers, get a prenup drafted up. If you do want to get married, please do not combine your finances. If he turns out that he has other really major problems, because he's been hiding one problem from you, and like, mental health is a really hard one because you have a right to medical privacy, and that's a whole nother can of worms. But it seems like this could be indicative of other things that he might not have wanted to share with you. And so I would definitely keep an eye on that and not combine your finances, because there may be other things that crop up that could cause a lot of damage to you and your finances. So I would be very cautious and move slowly in this relationship and not rush into anything and not be too hasty.
Yeah, and if you need to call it quits, there's nothing wrong with calling it quits. You know, some people have this idea that disabled people can't be wrong because they're disabled. And some people will use that essentially to excuse really bad behavior that they can control and they do have control over. So like, and no matter what, like, even if he doesn't choose this, like, it's not incumbent upon you to save him or train him or whatever.
Or fix him even.
Yeah.
It's not your responsibility to fix another person. It's his responsibility to fix himself. And that's going to take time, energy, and effort. And certainly he should have a support network who helps him and is supportive of him and his journey to help but make himself the best person that he can be. But it's still his responsibility to do all that work.
Right. And they shouldn't have to, like, throw everything at him to make it happen. Like, just give him free reign of your finances and buy him the house he wants and all that stuff.
Yeah. So I definitely think that you should proceed with caution. And, you know, this is probably going to be really tough to hear if you are hearing this, but but that's just kind of my take on it. And hopefully at least some of this sticks and doesn't come across as too harsh. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some beverages of choice right here, and Amber, she looks very devious. I'm a little concerned, but she has a joke.
Have I told you about my fear of moving stairs?
Well, that escalated quickly.
Yeah. I was going to say it's escalating, so...
Oh, I was about right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we need a different joke then. You're going to burn through all your jokes.
I am.
Do you have a jovial Bobstein one you want to use?
I'd have to dig that out. To the guy who invented zero, thanks for nothing.
You know, I think that's appropriate. Thanks for nothing. And I have mega mint tea. Wait, no, I have licorice spice tea. I almost knew what type of tea I have. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for watching. Happy Tuesday, spelt with a TWO. Amber, we need some moral guidance, and please make it in the form of a Roses Are Red poem.
To OP in the first letter. Roses are red, violets are blue. Who's getting married? Probably not you.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.